belief of like the conspiracy theory of 9/11.
Mm-hmm.
Like I used to be, but I've like more like fell on the side of like it's the only thing that makes me wonder about the whole conspiracy theory is Building 7. That's always been the thing.
You're talking about the empty NASA research base?
Supposedly, yeah. Or it was like an FBI base or whatever. Like it was a lot of like I think CIA was based there. It was a lot of.
It was an empty NASA research base in Ohio. And the exact number of passengers that were on all the planes that crashed combined got off that one Flight 93 plane in Ohio, went into that building and never came out.
Mm-hmm.
And the plane took off with nobody in it.
Wait, what's that? I never heard that.
Wait, what? Wait,
You
hold
never
on,
heard that?
hold on.
Yeah, because I was talking.
You didn't dig deep enough.
No. I was talking about Building 7.
Are you talking about
7? Building 7 was the one where it looked like it was a straight up just demolition.
The third building
hit
that
Building
collapsed.
7. Yeah.
Yeah, that was terrible. I thought you were talking about the planes that crashed.
Well, Joe, expand on that though, because I've never heard that before.
You've never watched? Okay, there's a documentary that's out called Loose Change. That's where I got all my shit from, was Loose Change, and it's actually documented that they went and found that the plane landed in Ohio due to a bomb scare. The plane landed Flight 93, and Flight 93 had the exact number of people that was supposed to be on all the flights combined on that one flight, and they got off, went into an empty NASA research base. This happened in Ohio. They went in the building, they never came out. The plane took off with nobody in it.
Nick, what the fuck?
Yeah,
that was Flight 93, the one that crashed in PA.
That's the one that crashed in PA. Okay.
There was nobody on that plane.
What the hell? So the whole story about them fighting and beating the terrorists and crashing the plane on their own, that's
bullshit.
Oh, wow. Okay. So what was the point of that?
And all the terrorists that they claim were terrorists on that plane, they researched and looked up every single person that was a claim to be a terrorist on that plane, and they found them all alive in Saudi Arabia, and they're like over in Iraq and shit, all alive.
Now to be
no, fair, I don't think it was all of them. I think there was like a couple of them that were found alive.
To be fair,
they were like pilots or something.
Most of them are like inbred and they have like the same like names and shit. There's like 40 Muhammads out there, so I mean, I'm just saying it ain't that hard.
True, but
you feel me?
But there's also doppelgangers too, because they like to do that a lot out there too.
Yeah,
have people to look like them.
They're just switching out suicide bombers.
You remember?
Okay. So what about the missile? What do you guys think about the missile? Was there a missile that hit the Pentagon, or was it a plane?
No.
Yeah, I think that was definitely a missile.
It was a remote. It was a remote controlled aircraft, like a drone.
I don't even think that. I think if you look at the video, there's not even like a aircraft type of like thing in the shot. It looks like a missile. And then what did like all of it just disintegrate? Like there's no evidence. Yeah. And then it left this like kind of like a tiny hole in the building.
Where are the black boxes?
Yeah, I don't think there was ever any black boxes there. There was no plane.
That's
okay.
crazy.
And then
the only evidence they really have of a plane is that the light poles were knocked down in front of the Pentagon. And then it's like, yeah, but at the same time that, light poles, really? That's it?
That would have took the wings off.
Evidence, though.
Yeah.
The wings would have came off. You're right. Yeah.
Yeah. The wings would have came off from those light poles. It would have sheared those wings right off. Even on a drone, it would have just sheared the wings off and turned it into a missile.
So you don't think there's any world where the light poles would have been knocked over? You think the light poles would have stayed and the
Could
plane
be
would have just
aftershock from a missile.
Depends on which way. Did we see which way that they blew?
Yeah, I was just about to ask. If they blew towards the street, then yeah, I'd be with you. But if they blew towards the building, then it's like I don't know.
Yeah.
It's wings. Also, the towers themselves. The beams in the towers were meant to be able to withstand over temperatures over 3,000 degrees.
But the jet fuel, Joe.
That's
jet fuel doesn't burn. Jet fuel doesn't burn, but up to 1,800 or 1,900 degrees. Half of that.
Yeah, but that's supposedly, I'm not an expert, but that's supposedly enough to just weaken them. It doesn't need to actually 3,000 is to melt them.
From the person that helped build the building said that jet fuel would not weaken those structures at all. From people that built the building and fixed the building,
jet fuel wouldn't do anything. Wow.
So and then on top of that, the fire chief that was on that floor, there was a recording of him saying minimal damage, and we can have the fire. We'll have it out in a few minutes. And then right after that, there were silver flashes in the corners of the building because it was a controlled demolition.
Yeah.
You don't have buildings fall straight the fuck down when they got hit from the top.
So what's the means to end? Like, what was the point of it then?
That was a demolition. That was a demolition expert that reviewed that video. That said those. He pointed out the silver flashes and said that those are explosives.
How do they do that though? Like how do they line the building with explosives without people noticing?
2 weeks prior, they took all the police, all the security off of the building. 2 weeks prior to 9/11, they took all the security off the building. No bomb squads, no nothing. There was no police presence or security presence in that building for 2 weeks. They had just went back to work that day.
Yeah, but there's 3,000 people working in the towers, so there's like you have to. I'm just speaking logically. How do you even pull that off?
Chris, it's clandestine, bro. You give the C4 to the cleaner, the guy that's going up on the windows. It's cleaning the windows.
Thank you.
While he's going up the stairs, you just put a little charge right there.
Janitors.
No one looks at the janitor.
Yeah.
Nope.
So you think the government is trusting the entire the plot that
he's not really a janitor, bro. He's just dressed like a janitor.
I think it would make more sense for them to paint thermite on the fucking windows than to.
And that's easy to do. Guess what? Oh, we need new windows. No one's gonna question on floor 55 that a guy's gonna change the windows for this and that. No one's going to do that 2 weeks before 9/11 because, again, there was no threats at all before 9/11. It was just Bush doing his happy dance thing during the time.
There was a lot of threats. America was warned about 9/11 multiple times through multiple governments.
Yes,
there was a lot of threats at the time. We just were stupid and we didn't. We thought we were safe.
Yeah.
Well, they had tried earlier, right? Like in '93, they tried to blow up the bottom.
My dad worked across the street from that World Trade Center that got bombed.
Wow.
We had just left to go upstate, and when we got upstate to our friend's house, I was young back then, man. I was like 12. When we got up to our friend's house upstate, he saw what happened. He's like, "I work right across the street." He's like, "Holy shit!"
Joe, question: was your dad secretly Indiana Jones for all the adventures as he's had? Meeting wrestlers and being next to things. I'm like, I respect it. Hey. If he was, hats off to him. Fedora off.
Hey man, Dad lived a good life.
Dad lived the life that the CIA don't want to have, bro. Like what the hell?
I can't. He lived a good life. I'm telling you. And he got lucky a lot.
Yeah, men in those times lived way more adventurous lives than we did.
Yeah.
Yep,
that's true.
Yeah.
But I'm telling you, the silver flashes were pointed out by somebody that works for a demolition company. He spotted them in the video and slowed the video down to show you. And he's like, if you watch where these silver flashes are, they're in the key points of the building to make it blow up and fall straight down. He's like, why do you think both towers fell straight down?
I've also seen. Well, I've also seen experts say that it came from the pancaking of the floors. So the explosions that we're seeing are actually the floors pancaking, and then like you see the sort of like all the air getting pushed out, and it's breaking windows and all that shit. So it looks like explosions more than it actually is explosions.
But it was the way the building fell.
Yeah,
that made
yeah,
it look bad.
but they made it so precise where if the building would have tipped over, ain't no telling what it would have fell on. They made it precise where it was gonna fall straight down, all the way down to the ground. Like
That's
I
what
said,
caused that dust cloud that ran up the roads.
yeah. So we're saying it would have fell. It should, to me, I would have thought if some planes crashed into a building like that, it should have went sideways instead of going straight down.
Well, if you actually watch, yeah, it does go straight down, like for the most part. But if you actually do watch the clips of it, the tops of the towers actually buckle and turn, like they don't fall straight down. You get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
The weird part to me is the bottoms of the tower collapsing. Now they're saying that it's because of, I guess, all the weight from the top of it all sort of again pancaking and just falling down and causing that amount of pressure to sort of collapse.
But that doesn't explain the silver flashes before it happened.
No, it does.
How does that explain silver flashes before it happened?
Because if because a building collapsing isn't just concrete folding in on itself. We're talking electrical. We're talking a lot of different things that are, it's like combusting. You get what I'm saying? So the each floor pancaking, like if you also notice, because they say these are explosions, but this is what I think it is as you watch the tower fall, you can see little like they look like explosions from each side of the building as it's falling, and that what that is it's pressure, it's air getting pushed out from each floor pancake. Am I making sense? I don't know.
Yeah, I'm following. I'm following.
Yeah, I'm following.
I'm listening to you, and I understand what you're saying, but it's that, and again, it doesn't make any sense to me because they happen simultaneously.
Yes, because the floor was pancaking. Even if it all happened simultaneously, that wouldn't even make sense in a controlled demolition because it all kind of goes at different times because they're hitting like specific points.
Not if you have all your explosives set up to one charge. And if you hit all your explosives with one charge button and they all hit at the same time, they're all going to fall at the same time.
But that's not how you do a controlled demolition, from what I know.
If you go and watch a controlled demolition online, like YouTube or whatever, if you look them up, you could see, if you watch a controlled demolition and go back and watch 9/11, like watch when the towers fall, you'll see what I'm talking about. There is clear evidence that it's identical.
I'm not saying that it doesn't look identical or it doesn't look similar. That's not the point. The point is there's also like logical answers to why it's not a controlled demolition. I'm just saying that it's not as like cut and dry.
What about back in the 70s when Richard Nixon was president? He had documentation that he wanted to do tests of flying remote controlled aircrafts into skyscrapers to test collateral damage.
Okay.
That was a government document that came out.
So how is that proof of anything though?
That's something that, yeah, but how many skyscrapers do we have besides New York and like maybe Chicago?
So you're saying you're saying it was a government test?
I feel like it was a test. I feel like it was done as a not only a test, but I also feel like it was also done to cause more problems with another country, so they can raise the prices of things. I feel like it was all caused because of money, oil.
I think that's how they took advantage of it.
So you remember when Dave Chappelle did that skit about the Black Bush?
Yeah,
I did it for the oil. Come on, like, hey.
Yeah, but they didn't have to do 9/11 to justify going into war.
No, man. Like, Hey, but think about it this. You got to start something to take over something.
Or maybe it was a distraction.
Mm-hmm.
Actually want to chime in on this. This is actually like very interesting. Being in the Navy during the time after 9/11 and going to Iraq and bombing people, and Krishan knows this. On the night that they went to Iraq and bombed and killed 10,000 people, confirmed, all documented. None of them were high priority targets.
No,
none of them were on one night. And I was on the ship when they showed us jet fucking camera views of bombs getting thrown off, and people were like, "Yeah, America, America!" I'm like, this. Even as a kid at 20 years old, I was like, this feels a little off. Yeah. This feels like not for like representation of like America. And then years pass, and we find out it's about the oil. It was always about the oil. But then if you think about it in hindsight, 20 years later, if they would have bombed Saudi Arabia instead of Iraq and got that oil instead of, or even Venezuela, imagine like, oh, we're going to go after Venezuela in 2001 because we're like terrorist reasons, whatever you want to fucking call it. It was always about the oil. It's always about who had the most control over it. They got Iraq, and I love that. Yeah, you got the oil. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Saudi Arabia, where we have more money than people on a date. My son, my 12-year-old Arabian son, has more money than the population on Earth before he even hits puberty. And he has tigers in his backyard. This is the state of America and the world, ladies and gentlemen. It is not about oil. It's about money and power now. Yeah. It's all about
Alex, just so I can like understand what you're saying. You're saying that America did 9/11 to justify going to war for oil, to then make Saudi Arabia be in charge of the oil?
No, they went.
Why aren't we in charge of the oil then?
It's one thing I want to say like this. It's not the point of them giving it to Saudi Arabia. It's the fact that they did that in 2001 thinking that America was going to be the superpower in oil and industry. Then 20 years later, Saudi Arabia doesn't really pop up. They slowly rise to power. They create an island for themselves. They do a lot of things that no one expected them to do, and they're not stopping. So it's really not about oil anymore. It's about just power. I think in the end result, it's not even going to be about power. It's going to be about water.
No, wait. You're kind of getting ahead of it because we're talking about in the time like of why they justified going to war after 9/11. And you guys are saying that they used 9/11 to justify going to war when in reality they just wanted to go to war for oil, which to me is like sort of an old, like it's an old point because it doesn't make sense in that like we're not in charge of oil. It actually didn't help us at all in terms of that. And in reality, America can drill for our own oil here. So I'm not against you guys saying that we went to war for like unjustified reasons. I just don't think oil was the reason. I think that's like way too, that's like a Democrat selling point from 2000 and 2002 or whatever.
But do y'all know how many oil rigs? You know how many oil rigs George Bush Jr. got? He owned a couple of he owned a couple of oil rigs. And you know who was his cousin? His cousin is Obama. Him and Bush and Obama is related. They cousins, second cousins.
I never heard that.
Yeah,
look it up. Look it up.
I'll look it up later. Barack Obama's birth certificate is not real. Anything's possible with that guy.
Anything's possible. Oh, that's a good conspiracy theory.
Bush was related. Goddamn Bush related to fucking Bin Laden. Bin Laden used to come to the White House.
Okay.
Yeah. You're right. Well, we created Al Qaeda. Like we trained them.
We did.
To fight I think it was to fight the Soviets.
That's another conspiracy. That's another conspiracy for another topic for another day. Like what we created, we have to destroy. Like we created Al Qaeda and then we tried to destroy it, and then Al Qaeda was kind of destroyed, and then came ISIS, and then after ISIS, there's something else. There's always going to be something with under 7 letters.
But see, I don't know if it's so much that we created those groups. or that we just trained them. I think those groups and their ideology already existed. We just put guns in their hands.
Well, we used that ideology to fight our enemy. And then after our enemy was destroyed, they want to destroy us. So they went back. They went back to their original plan. You get what I'm saying? We were strange bedfellows at the point. Go ahead.
My enemy is their friend.
Saddam Hussein. Okay, so they sent Saddam Hussein. Saddam Hussein, he was originally over there to scare the people. So when the U.S. wanted to take it over and everything, look what happened. But they said Saddam Hussein had like 10 or 12 of them that looked 10 or 12 lookalikes. What's saying he got the right one? What's saying they got the right one?
I'll tell you where all of this could be solved. Is we got to remove all these like emotions from war. When it comes to like things of like it needs to get back to like, listen, we got to destroy our enemies. That's what we do when we go to war. It comes down to like we use other governments and other like groups or that become terrorist groups or even terrorist groups themselves to fight our enemies because of political reasons, because we can't go in and just stomp their fucking heads in because we'll be looked at as war criminals and we'll be it's like no, we need to just go and handle business and stop listening to all these politics.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, we are the empire.
Yeah.
We need to act like one. Yeah.
We need to act like one. I agree.
I was going to talk about that on the Charlie Kirk one where you have a hat on, Mr. Krishan the Dawn, saying "Make America Great Again," and the topic I wanted to talk about, the conspiracy. If you want to make America great again, do we go back to a political assassinations? But that's for the bonus episode. That's like I feel that America is regressing back to the times that it was kind of like the Wild West turning into the industrial revolution, like revolution between you know what I mean, McCain, like to 1900, 1930, where everything was growing, new things were happening, but a lot of shit was going on. Like a lot of crazy shit was going on.
Yeah, a lot of history.
Like, a lot of history. And I have a clip about that, about history, about things that happened. But if we can, if we want to talk about this a little bit more, we can. We have the Philadelphia experiment. Mr. Krishan the Don brought it up. And I have a clip talking about the Philadelphia experiment. So whenever you guys ready, just give me a thumbs up. You guys can keep talking about 9/11. We'll get out of here.
You know, speaking of all this creating these other groups and stuff, it reminded me of an old episode of Monday Night Raw when Vince McMahon was sitting in the chair and he said, "It's time to inflict poison on my company." And he turned around with the NWO logo on the back of the chair. Just had that come to mind when we were talking about that.
I thought you were going to say the forming of the Los Boricuas.
That just sounds like terrible.
I thought the Mexicals were better.
The Mexicals?
It was Mexicans,
the Mexicals.
Mexicans that used to come out riding lawnmowers.
They used to come out on the they used to come out on lawnmowers that were Juan Deere instead of John Deere. They were Juan Deere.
Yo, nah.
Hey, what was that?
I know why you were a wrestling fan.
Who was that?
I was raised. Who was
that? Tagaloa. You know, he used to wrestle. They used to come out on bicycles.
Oh, it's Camacho.
Yeah.
I still call him Camacho.
Yeah, they used to come out on bicycles.
San Andreas.
Yeah, Joe. I mean, like I said, I could see like you guys saying like, all right, they even let's say 9/11 was an inside job, and I granted you that. Us going to war like for oil, I think is just too like it's too simplified.
I just feel like it was a test.
That's fair because look, here's where the real crime that happened after 9/11 was the installment of the Patriot Act. That's what really fucked us.
Yeah,
so whether or not they did it on purpose to install that, or they just took advantage of the moment and took advantage of our fears, that was the true evil that happened because they started spying on us.
Yeah. All right, but Krishan, let me ask you a question. So you remember when they went and invaded Saddam Hussein? Saddam Hussein had fucking a lot of oil rigs. What happened to him?
He had a lot of weapons of mass destruction too. Nobody wants to talk
but they didn't find nothing. They didn't find no oil.
They
found aluminum foil.
They told you they didn't find nothing, nigga. They found something.
Hey, but like I said, he had order reads.
That's the same as because sometimes I got to remember that back then I was like indoctrinated with bullshit media. Is it the same like Iran where they didn't find weapons of mass destruction, but they found all the like materials to make it?
You know, that's a good point, Chris. That's a damn good point. I don't know because we were fucking indoctrinated back then. Holy shit.
Yeah.
I think the U.S. took them all. Personally, I think they have them stored somewhere.
Good.
Huh?
Rather us.
I'd rather us have it. Fuck it.
Shit, it's just like they tell us they haven't found aliens, but like I said, every alien movie we watch give us hints. Men in Black.
Are we moving on from 9/11?
Trump exposed that already.
I kind of want to get into the alien thing. All right, first off,
I'm asking.
Who here believes in aliens?
I do.
I don't.
I do.
I'm kind of wavering.
I actually had experience.
I'm kind of wavering too. I'll let Chris explain.
The government just said that it's real. Yeah, the government just said like a year ago, oh, aliens are real. I'm like, even if the government's saying it, I'm like, I don't believe them, obviously, but I'm like, why are you saying this shit now?
Krishan has his theory. Krishan has his theory. I think it's pretty dope. So,
wait, what theory were you?
I'm talking about you when we were talking about the aliens and why you don't think it's real. So now I'm kind of wavering on whether